Right edition, welcome, happy day. Hey, if you've been married a long time and you're over 60 years old, that new scientific test or research thing here shows that you can kind of tune out what the other person's saying. I guess that's been going on with me. I haven't heard anything my wife has told me for many, many years. Let's see now, in the European Union, cars now are going to be fitted with speed limiters. All cars will have devices on them that if you go over 70 miles an hour, you can't anymore. They say we're going to cut deaths and so on. Why not take it down to maybe 10 miles an hour? Then you won't have any deaths to deal with. I mean, I don't know. That's a real infringement on privacy, isn't it? Under the proposals, these cars will have cameras that will read roadside speed limits and automatically apply the brakes when you exceed that. And these new measures now say, or announced rather, by the European Commission's Mobility and Transport Department, they say that we're going to save 30,000 people from themselves this year. I get mixed feelings with that. There's a tax dodging Freeman movement going on in British Columbia, Canada. They say there's over 30,000 of them now, and their position is, hey, God said we don't have to pay income tax, and we don't have to have any ID, and they don't have driver's licenses, and they don't have gun licenses, and they want to be armed, and they want to do a lot of things. And it's kind of a mix. I mean, I get it, but it's not right because people like us do pay taxes. So who are these people to not pay taxes and travel on our roads? Because, of course, they do drive cars and a few other things that you can only do if some taxpayers are alive and well. They say they're sovereign citizens and the government has overstepped its bounds. Again, we all get that. Certainly the government has in Canada overstepped their bounds, but you know what? I just don't think that you guys can do that, but there are 30,000 of you. I mean, that's a big number, so good luck with your movement. But people like me who should be on side with you, I'm not, because I'm annoyed because I do have to pay taxes and you're on my roads. So there's another way to get the government to kind of wake up and come out of the ether. That ain't the way. Fake tanning now is ruining students, so says a landlord. And not only the students is ruining my beds, and he shouldn't be he shouldn't be caring too much about the students. You wouldn't think, get rent check. But he's upset because he says my place is going to fall down now, and the students have an obsession with fake tanning, and it's costing me a lot of money. And there's a big story here that goes with it, and I'm not too sure why it's newsworthy, really, because if you don't like what they're doing, give them notice, or better yet, don't rent to them in the first place. But that's what he's doing, and the bottom line, or the bottom sentence to that is he's asking for government aid. Of course he is. Now, yellow light times have been reduced by mere fractions of a second, and when that happens, research indicates that a half-second reduction in the interval can double the number of citations that are handed out. And so police forces in a lot of cities are looking at that now because, of course, they need more revenue. All left-wing governments that spend more than they bring in, or because they all do, of course, are looking for more ways to get it from the public, and that's going on in a lot of different places. Son of a gun, who would have darn thunk it? We have talking urinals in Colorado. They're dishing out advice. Who would have thunk this? And, I just don't get it. I mean, go to a urinal and it talks to you. I mean, I think that's kind of where we don't want to go. Don't you think? I'm going to throw that one away. I have a viewer question here. This lady that wrote in, we get about 100 of these a day, and certainly can't answer them all, but we do try, but can't answer them all online, I should say. But here's one that's got into this pile, so I'll share it with you. Brian, that would be me. You must have had politics and dinner talks, table talks when you're growing up. Yes. P.S. I love your mom. That's out of MJ, a lady out of Texas. Son of a gun. Actually, I didn't. Growing up, we didn't talk politics very much, and I once asked my parents about that, and I remember my mom saying, you know what, effectively, she said this, you know what, they had a job description, they being the politicians, they had their job, we had our job was to raise our family and do what we do, and we didn't have to worry about them. But in today's world, when you hire them to do it, they don't do it anymore. There's no such thing as as a statesman. They're all politicians, professional politicians. Anyway, I could go on and on, but that would be my answer to that. Pennsylvania now, they have a hospital that's open to the country's inpatient treatment program for internet addiction. Internet addiction. If you're 10 years ago, there's a man here, his name is Kevin Roberts, and he suffered from this addiction that took over his life, and he's now 44, and he used to sit 12 hours a day in front of the computer, and now he's not because he got treated. He's poor too, but maybe because you can't make any more money if you're not in front of that little screen. That's kind of an interesting story. This internet addiction is a problem in this country that could be more pervasive than alcoholism, writes this one doctor. I wonder, because it's free, it goes on to say as well. Let me end today with a story. Here it comes. It's about a robot. There's a man and his wife. They got a robot. They brought it home, and this robot was kind of unique because it was apparently a truth teller. And if you told a lie, it slapped you, slap, as hard as it could. And that'll teach you for lying. So anyway, one night at dinner, there was the husband and the wife and their 16-year-old boy. And the robot, of course, and the father said to the boy, "What did you do in school today?" And the boy went on to say what he had done. All of a sudden, slap! And how come you got slapped? You lied. He said, "Well, I was out smoking pot." And the father said, "I never smoked pot in my life, and how dare you?" Slap! He got it on the robot. As the mother said, "Well, there you go, like father, like son." Slap! There's a robot for sale now, cheap. Y'all come back tomorrow, we'll get more for you from the right. See ya.